Time to talk about another guy you shade on the rig, and that's Kawhi Leonard. And we have to ask, are Kawhi's new reps the reason for his beef with the Spurs? Going to get into that in the pull-up. One day we're going to find out what Kawhi did to you, but we have to talk about the drama with the Spurs and Kawhi right now, because in a recent ESPN feature, writers Ramona Shelburne, Michael C. Wright, with some additional reporting from Woj, attempted to make sense of the season-long drama between usually the drama-free Spurs and their reserved and very quiet star Kawhi Leonard. So one of the major reported reasons for the tension between Kawhi's reps and the Spurs is that his representation has changed. He has a new agent that's not really in the basketball world, and also his uncle's kind of come into the fold to rep him and try to have him expand his business, at least away from the basketball court. Yeah. A league source with direct knowledge of the situation told ESPN, quote, Kawhi is the same person. The only thing that has changed about him is the people speaking for him now, unquote. Multiple league sources say the Spurs are worried that Kawhi's reps are trying to damage his relationship and get him traded to a larger market such as LA, where he's from, or New York or Philadelphia. Part of the problem stems from differing diagnosis from the Spurs medical staff and their medical specialists that Kawhi's reps have pushed to get a second opinion, which we know he's been in New York multiple times this season, having his leg looked at. And the Spurs have grown very frustrated by losing control of the medical care for their franchise player. And they obviously feel that they're the team, they have the better doctors, he should be working out with them, or at least trying to get rehab through them. Yeah. A source close to Kawhi said, quote, the Spurs feel they hire the best, that they do it better than anyone else. They deserve to have that reputation, that kind of ego, but they're just not very open-minded. They don't like others messing with their players. And another source close to Kawhi was critical of the Spurs' approach, saying, quote, they're alienating him, they're making him look bad. You have this seamless transition from the Duncan era to the new era, this homegrown superstar. Like, why would you alienate him? So it's kind of unclear how this is all going to play out. We saw Popovich mend fences with LaMarcus Aldridge, but of more significance, Kawhi is potentially up for a supermax extension this summertime. So what the hell should the Spurs do? What should Kawhi do? How does this situation all play out?
Nothing. You push him the contract just like that and say, hey, Kawhi, sign this.
No, you don't.
And you push it back?
You don't pay Kawhi Leonard?
This summer?
Who are you talking to right now? First of all, but
sure.
yes.
That's very true.
No, it's an extension that I can possibly give him. What do I need to sign him for? I got him for 2 more years.
You do, it's true.
So the fact that right now he is a supermax, he's under the supermax because he was All-NBA 2 times in a row, right? But this year he wasn't. If I don't give him this supermax contract, he plays next year and he's not an All-NBA player, he drops down to 155. So I save money by not giving it to him now. So what's the point of giving him? What is the benefit of giving it to him now besides maxing him out?
I mean, if you're trying to mend fences and get a better relationship.
You don't need to. He has to play.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't this year.
Oh, he's going to sit out again next year. He sits out again next year. He's not a supermax player.
I'm just envisioning Gilbert as a GM. They would
ruthless.
What I'm saying is, why am I gonna spend an extra $64 million? I want him to play. If he's back to that capability of being, who he was, then of course, I got to give him the 219.
I'm impressed. You did that math in your head?
What?
That was impressive. Extra 64. I see you with the math in your
he's
head.
good with numbers. He's good with numbers.
The chicken scratchers.
All right. Other question again. Is it wise to have Kawhi is now being rep by one of his uncles. Broden knew, as you laugh at that. Well, his uncle is supposedly a banker?
A banker.
So he has some financial background at least. But is it wise to involve your family this deeply in your business and get involved in a new agent, a new rep, and your uncle, and have him try to steer you in possibly a different direction from the franchise that you're known with, you're synonymous with, and that you're going to be the guy with?
If your family is experts or have knowledge of what you're telling them to do, then I don't see how it hurts, but usually 99% that motherfuckers don't know nothing about what's going on, and you're giving them a job to do so they can make money, so they don't have to beg for money. Yeah. But somebody like Klay Thompson and Curry, their parents have been in this before, so them saying, "Oh, Dad, I want you to do this part," boom, boom, that is a great move on them. I don't know what his uncle. I mean, financially. Kawhi to be set, but businesses outside of that, I can't.
His uncle, name is Dennis Robertson, allegedly has 27 years of banking experience. We found that on his LinkedIn page.
Oh, nice.
So that's good.
But
exactly.
I'm just saying that's fucking great to put my money in the bank.
Yes.
And do all this, but the fuck do you have to do?
But there's rumors that they want to
get.
get him involved in like New York real estate and all these other ventures, like buy apartments in Harlem and building stuff like that. So they're trying to do some things.
So they're pushing him towards New York.
I'm fine with that.
Of course you
Bring
are.
him on. But
Trash.
real question though, how many times have you seen guys in the league through your years kind of get screwed over by dealing with their family and their direct business?
It's always in real estate.
There you go. Yeah.
Always I mean, real estate is a tricky thing. You have to be smart about it anyway. But family usually is the one that, rolls you, because it's like one of those things. They've never went to school studying this stuff to really know it. Right. They just have this big idea, and you have the money, and I'm going to convince you to do it. And that's why usually the studios and all this shit always falls apart, because you don't have experts in that field. Yeah. I mean, so if you're going to be in a real estate business and you're going to buy real estate, make sure your uncle is pushing you towards someone who is an expert
in what they're doing
in New York. And unfortunately, wouldn't that be Trump?
No.
He's not a great.
Trump is a farce.
In the real estate of New York? I thought he was
his father built it up.
Okay. I was going to say
Trump involved here.
No, I'm just saying, like, somebody who's good at buying real estate. Like, I thought, like, he bought something, sold it, and then bought it back for cheaper.
But why did he say
he
like
spews out lies left and right?
Yeah.
I thought you said that once.
He wouldn't pay contractors. Like,
no, I told you something different.
But why did he say that? Like he was the only real.
Right,
no, I'm just thinking.
Let's bring this back to Kawhi. Okay, how do you, from the Spurs perspective, from his perspective, how do you resolve and get back on the same page? Is this at this point too fucked up to repair?
He has to play next year. First of all, he has to play for the next 2 years. So really, there's nowhere to go unless you're going to force a trade somewhere. Yeah. And if you're forcing a trade in the middle of the season, 1, you're not going to be an All-NBA player. 2, you're not that means you're not supermax.
Yeah.
So you're stuck just like they're stuck.
This kind of reminds me of the Kyrie Irving situation last summer with the Cleveland Cavaliers, except I think San Antonio will learn from it and just sit on Kawhi and not trade him and try and resolve this like they did with LaMarcus Aldridge, who also requested a trade this previous summer. It's just interesting that your 2 star players in a franchise that normally never has controversy, never has stories like this come out, in the past 18 months or so have both been disgruntled and wanted to leave. So is this a front office situation or is this a coaching staff situation? And I just believe you don't get rid of a player of Kawhi Leonard's talent.
Unreal.
What did he do
Can
to
you please acknowledge that he has talent at least?
Yeah, he has talent.
Okay,
I'm just saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the problem is just medical staff, and it says it in the quotes that they're so controlled on where their players are doing their business that they're not happy that he's somewhere else getting a second look or third look. And yeah, they hired the best and the best of the world. No, there's always better. There's always better.
As a player,
most of the time, the people inside the organizations are not that good. Right. Because you got to remember, they're dealing with athletes once in a blue moon when you have outside doctors who's dealing with hundreds and thousands.
Yes, I would imagine the doctors in New York are a little bit better than the doctors in San Antonio. But I don't think I'm going on a limb with that.
Don't slander me.
When I got a knee surgery, I went to Mr. Glass. That was in New York.
Yeah.
Which hospital?
I don't know.
Hospital for special surgery?
You know,
I don't know.
Gil makes a great point because sometimes teams will sit on their high horse and say, you need to work with our medical staff. But oftentimes those same teams will send a guy to Dr. James Andrews to get his knee fixed up. So it's like you pick and choose when you want your guy to go see outside specialists or you want him to stay in house.
They want to pick the outside specialist, not because they control that outside specialist. Yeah. Because if I'm paying you and I'm sending you players, you're gonna say what I want you to say compared to you.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.